Welcome, Cancer, to your Cancer September 2021 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, for those who are stopping by for the first time, and for the subscribers, much love and affection to you. I always love to see you. Well, and I've done some readings personally for some of you from different parts of the world, and if you'd like to have a reading with me from anywhere in the world, just check out the information that's in the description box below. But now we are going to draw 5 cards and see what they have in store. Because haven't you found that 5 is all we need? They are always jam-packed full of information, and I'm sure these cards will be the same. So let's see what cards are going to come out, and then we can see what they have to say for you. What's this one here? The Server of Cups. The Server of Cups. Well, obviously it's titles. They are titles that we are not ordinarily familiar with, but that won't matter, because what does matter is the numerology, the suits, the astrology. There's the Master of Cups, the Server of Cups, and the Master of Cups. And of course, the interplay of the cards between each other and where they are positioned. That has a lot, if not, well, all those things go to make up what the messages turn out to be. Because my job is to take the mystical work, there is the Fool, the mystical information which is beyond language, and to translate it for you, to turn it into something that you can understand. And these cards always do a good job, don't they? Well, these ones in particular, I don't know. There's the 3 of Swords, the Fool, the Master of Cups, the Server of Cups. What's this one here, finally? And it is the 3 of Discs. Wonderful. Why don't you come sit down here next to me? We'll have a good close look at the artwork, the original artwork on these cards together, while I do the reading for you. There now, can you see? I think we might deal with this Server of Cups, which is just calling out to me. So let's have a look at it here for you. See what this painting gives us. Do you know, I see a lot of Scorpio around you at the moment. I also see Sagittarius and Libra. Very much so. Well, in this painting, there is a woman with a basket of flower petals, and she serves another who is in the water. See her, she's serving her, and this is talking about an emotional state, I think. The woman who is helping her has her foot in the water, but is not herself submerged. Helpers who get too submerged in the emotional states of others burn out, or they lose perspective. Now, if you look carefully, you will notice that a spiral of light energy emerges from the sun and travels through the server to the recipient. And this reminds you that the best way to serve is as a channel for larger energy. When you work from personal reserves only, as you very often do, don't you? You're always giving. Well, you can become depleted more quickly, and what you offer is more easily distorted by your personal beliefs and your psychological dynamics. I suppose that the essential energy that's coming up to me from this card here is that of the compassionate heart of you responding to the emotional and interpersonal needs of others in a ministering kind of way. Much of this ministering, I think, happens through small acts, like calling to see how someone is doing, or holding the hand of a child, or any person who is feeling frightened or alone. Just listening to others can be a tremendous gift, especially if it involves acknowledging and validating their feelings and expressing care and concern. And of anybody, you are the person to do this. True serving is distinguished from caretaking and codependency, where the giver meets his or her own needs through helping others rather than give out of fullness The codependent person gives in order to receive. Being in the giving role in a relationship often feels far more powerful than being vulnerable and wondering if you will be met. Although there are situations where self-sacrifice is appropriate, where, like when you're parenting a small child, when sacrifice becomes the predominant pattern, you risk losing yourself. Do you understand? So to stay healthy, you must keep in touch with your own needs, ministering to them as tenderly as you minister to the needs of others. And this is true for both men and women. I think what this is saying to you is it is now a good time to examine where you are in terms of your sensitivity to the emotional needs of others. Do you get engulfed? Are the needs of others burning you out, or are you able to balance them with good care and other interests? Can you enjoy being compassionate without making it your identity? Are you free to respond or not, as the situation requires? Is your nurturing welcomed, or is it shunned? And how do you respond to this? I think that these are the important concerns for you during this month. Well, we may as well stay on that top line, shall we? And have a look at this Master of Cups. Now, Master here, I think, is not meant in a gender-based term, but I think it means somebody who is proficient. Now, the pattern radiating from the woman's stomach, you can see it there, is called the flower of life. Lovely. There it is there, a flower of life. Now, this is the geometric pattern underlying all of life, and of all the other basic geometric forms. Well, they can all be found within it. It is also called the hologram of love. When you become a master in the emotional realm, when you are proficient, you know that everything is permeated with love, and that the very fabric of the universe itself is love. The fact that this pattern is radiating from the woman's stomach tells us that this is an embodied love rather than an abstract love. Now, in the picture, the woman here sits in a cave with power objects and animals around her. These tell us what she is connected to. The turtle represents Mother Earth, and the planets in the background out here, well, I think they symbolize the larger cosmos. The pictographs on the back of the cave represent the ancestors. Now, the ancestors are important because mastery in this realm always involves understanding our family of origin as well. It must be said, our past lives and karmic story. The Master holds all of this, as well as every emotion that arises within a larger field of love. This energy here is not so much about feeling love or philosophizing about it, but about living love. It is appropriate for this pattern radiating from the solar plexus here, because that is your power center, because love is more powerful than any other state or force in existence. And despite the fact that the woman is sitting in water, which symbolizes the emotional realm, as I mentioned before in respect of this card, the woman's posture is stable, once more communicating a grounded quality. Her love isn't airy-fairy, but rather it's practical. Now, when I say her, you understand that this relates to men as well, but I'm referring it to as a she for the obvious reason. Now, she can dispense tough love as well as the softer versions. I think that this card has come up for you in the position that it has because you are drawn into a more abiding consciousness of love. This will require taking off your armor and being vulnerable. It also means being seated in a place that is deeper than the surface emotions. Think of it as being seated in the flower of life, the hologram of love, your own true nature. When this is your center, love comes naturally. Now, I think for me, she is also the lady of the waves and waters, the ruler of the hosts of the sea. And I have a lot of Pisces, a lot of Aquarius around here. It could well be important to you, sun sign, or more particularly rising sign. It refers also to somebody in your life, I think, whether it's you or somebody that you know, who has commitment issues, that doesn't want to commit to something. This person could be friendly, but passive in the way of a Venus or of a weak Jupiter. They're attracted to excitement, and they are very often drawn to people or causes with a unsustainable enthusiasm. They're sensitive, this other person that's out here in your life at the moment, but something shallow. Their name is written in water, and it's probably someone who's not going to be in your life for very long. Or shall we have a look at the card which sits underneath it, which is this one. Ah, it's a beautiful painting, isn't it? Let's have a look at this. This is the Three of Swords. What's it say? Moving towards freedom, indeed. Well, let's have a look at it. Well, the three. Well, the visual representation of three is the triangle. Seen here in the butterfly, I would suggest. The overall shape of the butterfly is triangular, and the butterfly itself here is composed of several triangles. The butterfly is a symbol of spirit evolving out of denser forms, a movement towards freedom. Just as the butterfly goes from one place to another, from one flower to another, gathering nectar from each one, you can move from one point of view to another. There's no reason to be stuck with thoughts that hurt you. You can move on and go to another place, another point of view, gathering insight, gaining a more inclusive perspective, and becoming freer. This is true whether the different points of view are being told by different people or are held internally by you. You always have a choice about how to look at something. Noticing that you are stuck in a familiar thought pattern, for example, and stepping back to gain a larger perspective is very helpful and is what has been called upon for you to do this time. Now, if you find yourself in a painful situation, remember, and it is because, this is Saturn in the second decan of Libra, the 3rd to the 12th of October. Saturn is exalted in Libra, but Saturn very often has connotations of being slow and restrictive and bringing about form. Saturn is known as a great malefic. Saturn is exalted in Libra. The great malefic, meaning that it's a bad planet. I actually don't subscribe to that myself. I think all the planets are good. They just have different ways of going about things. And what Saturn does is it sometimes brings you back onto your right course. Though the road to the right course may sometimes have holes and rocks associated with it. Perhaps this is part of an initiation. In folklore and fairy tales, a person must often undergo 3 tests to overcome 3 obstacles as part of their growth. So look for ways current hardships can serve a higher purpose for you. See if you can step back and take a higher point of view. Let the butterfly symbolize for you the movement from an earlier, denser form to a lighter, freer way of being. This energy now is saying to you that it is a good time to look at what is happening, maybe in the triangles of your life. Where are they destabilizing and destructive? And where do they add richness and texture? Now, I know that very often in tarot this can represent sorrow or heartbreak. But in this position here, I don't think it does. I think what it is, particularly given the triangles that are here, it's looking for you to examine triangular relationships which may occur in your love life, in your social life, business, or family. Get the bigger perspective and remain true to yourself. Well, why don't we have a look at this Three of Discs? That's here. And I love the number 3. 3 is very fertile. It's about extension very often, about multiplication. It's also about gestation and fertility. And in this card here, astrologically, I have Mars in the second decan of Capricorn. Will Mars and Capricorn get on well? Because Mars is that fiery planet of aggression. And Capricorn is very much an eye on the prize, feet on the ground sort of card. And the combination of those things together mean that this is a period where you are going to be moving forward, where you apply yourself. Now, in this image, a woman performs a planting ritual. She makes space for frogs, snails, and other creatures, including them in the garden environment. The presence of the frog, I think, is especially meaningful here. As an amphibian, the frog is at home both on land and water. And the person who embodies frog energy is at home both in the more watery element of the inner life and the earth element of work in the world. It's that Capricorn area there. Such a person can live in both worlds without having to leave either behind. This is also talking about sensitivity to your emotions, physical needs, and the quality of your relationships, as well as honoring your creativity and uniqueness. A large part of your inner world is your feelings. When you don't know how to work skillfully with your feelings, you tend to push them under the rug and act them out in inappropriate ways sometimes. I mean, I think we've all done that, haven't we? Much of the interpersonal stress between people who work together occurs because feelings have been triggered and not really dealt with. Clearing the energy can have a very liberating effect. Now, functioning from a more integrated place allows you to nurture your relationships as well as to be responsive to the task at hand. It means not automatically putting the task in front of the relationship or the relationship in front of the task, but rather supporting both simultaneously. You can extend yourself to reach a goal without becoming ruthless or insensitive in the process. Now, in addition to integrating emotional sensitivity into the work environment, I think this energy here also represents staying responsive to your physical needs by, well, for example, nourishing your body with healthy food during the work period and breaking up long hours of sitting down with stretching or exercise. It also includes a concern for the beauty of the work environment so that it is pleasing and comfortable place to be. You will find at this time that your ability to achieve objectives is going to be highly developed. You will make progress in a number of areas in your material world. And you're going to have progress also in your personal relationships. Well, let's have a look and see where that takes us to. Where does it take us to? It takes us to here. The final card, which is here, and it is the Fool. Painted here as an attractive woman. Always happy to see that. Now, let's see what we have. What am I getting from you, Fool? What am I getting from you? Well, as the first card in the deck, it is assigned the number 0, which you can see there. Not 1, but 0. This is because the Fool really represents you before you came in to matter, before, if you like, and to draw an analogy with the book of Genesis in the Hebrew Bible or the Christian Old Testament, before you, like Adam and Eve, left the Garden of Eden, that spiritual realm, to come down into matter, where childbirth would be painful and where labor would be done with sweat under the burning sun. The Fool is at the beginning of a journey here. So this is talking about a journey of some description for you. It could be mental, could be physical, could be a process that you're going through and learning from all the complexities of life, which is going to provide you a deeper perspective and grounding of wisdom. You could say that the successful completion of this journey is coming back to the beginner's mind. This is the beginning of the major arcana. Coming back to that beginner's mind once you have learned the ropes, once you've gone through all the cards of the major arcana. Now, another of the Fool's gifts is the vibrant, bouncy energy she shares with the child. I'm referring to it as a she because, well, to me it looks like a she. But of course it's neither male nor female, the Fool, at this stage. Neither male nor female, or another way to say it is both male and female, but I'll refer to it as a she for the time being. Now that bouncy energy and vibrancy is shared with children. They know how to be vibrant and bouncy, and she knows how to play and is filled with wonder. The Fool is forever off on a new adventure. She is the spirit of adventure, as well as the spirit of trust. Now, in the picture, her bauble includes a multifaceted star. Do you see that? Representing unlimited future potential and hope. Because the Fool does not have an image to uphold, she is free to change and speak her truth. Like the child who said the emperor had no clothes, the Fool might say anything, sometimes to the dismay of people who happen to be around. Now, in the picture, her bauble includes a multifaceted star. This thing here, have a look at that. Yeah, and I think that represents unlimited future potential and hope for you. The energy here, I've got to say, can also herald, speak of an unexpected opportunity or adventure that is going to be coming your way. You may be about to step off the cliff of the old order and fall into a new phase of your life. Or it may be a challenge to trust, to open the heart, and to come back to a more childlike relationship with the source, with pure being, with the absolute. Something as simple as affirming your openness to change or to a more trusting relationship with life can help prepare the ground for you. Now sometimes, and you will have seen this with people, a person gets stuck in the shadow side of the Fool archetype and refuses to grow up or take on adult responsibilities. Then they have to really carefully decide how this strategy is going to limit their life. Is there maybe lots of fun, but at what expense to others and to their deeper dreams. Do you refuse to face facts to do with money? Do you overspend constantly? Do you make impulsive decisions that end up, in hindsight, have being unwise? The past is the past. Nothing to be concerned of there. Are you so afraid of anything that smacks of an ordinary life that you fail to provide the helpful structures that can nurture and support the development of love and creativity in the life that you do have? How long can you play Peter Pan? If, on the other hand, you don't play at all, you may want to open yourself to the gifts of the Fool and the wondrous things that now stand before you. Well, that's the way it is for you this month. Well, what a fantastic month for you. Great to see you again, and thank you very much for watching. It's a pleasure to be doing this with you. I do like that. And if you did like it, please do me the favor of hitting the like button. The YouTube gods like that, and it enables other people to maybe have a look at the video and enjoy what we enjoy doing ourselves. This is going to be a good month for you. I think you've got plenty to be looking forward to and things to do. So that has been food for thought, and you get together and remember this, and remember one thing always, and it is that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. So until then, it's bye for now.